Hey guys, Chris Ashley, welcome back to Passion for the Wild and Wonderful. What I've got for you today is just some bonus footage that I've compiled of my 2021 spring turkey season in both Ohio and West Virginia. I've got some really cool footage. I think you're going to enjoy it. You're going to see where I'm bouncing back and forth a little bit between West Virginia and Ohio. I hope you enjoy it.
So far, nothing's wanting to gobble yet. See if we can get one to gobble off here soon.
Well, that's one coyote. Now I'm going to have to move to see if I can't find a turkey.
after 8 o'clock, and I called in a Jake, point blank. Well, if I back up, first thing I did at daylight was lightly calling tree yelping, and I called in a coyote, and I shot him. So then I thought, well, probably ought to move. So I moved on out the ridge, and I got on one bird. He gobbled, maybe just courtesy gobbled. It was right near me. So I went and set up, and I ended up calling in a Jake. Initially, probably at about, I don't know, 10 yards, 15. Let him go away because I heard another gobbler off to my right that was just hammering, and I wanted to work that bird if I could. This Jake was gobbling like crazy in front of me. I didn't realize. I thought when he was coming in, I thought, yeah, that's a tom. I never even dreamed that it was a Jake. He never really struggled with his gobble at all. Anyways, I let him go away, went over the hill towards where that other one was gobbling, and set up. That one had shut up, but I called the Jake back in to like 5 yards and got him on camera good there too. So I let him go away again, and then I went over the hill to the backside. Now it's just dead. I hear every now and then a couple across the river on some other people's property gobbling. But I'm just trying to ride it out now until we get to this 9-10 o'clock time frame to where they might free up from the hens and be able to do something to work them. I know there's some birds around me here, but it's just slow, so stay with me. We'll see if we can't get on a bird here when another hour or so rolls around, gets us to that 9-10 o'clock time frame like we did with my boy. You know, I think I ended up working that bird or those 3 gobblers around 9 o'clock yesterday, and they were alone and hammering. So it's a little after 8 right now, so we'll see. Stick with me.
All right, guys, what you just got done watching and listening to were two clips from Ohio opening day of the 2021 spring turkey season. And so the first clip was the very first setup for the morning. I had set up in the food plot in a little nook that stuck out into the food plot, but was still in the woods. And the gobbler was down over the bank responding. And this was a learning for me, especially with self-filming. Other than the Florida trip that I had, if you haven't seen it, it's the Florida Osceola turkey hunt. It was really only my second time self-filming, and with it, the learning that I had was I am left-handed, and I had the camera set off to my right side, and I was sort of looking out into the little nook of the plot with the bird coming up over from my right side. And the short of it is what I should have done is I should have went ahead and set up and changed my position to where I could have the camera looking more across in front of me at the bird, and then I have the open area in front of where I thought he might come up in the plot. But I didn't move. I also, I guess, was naive and overconfident that when he stepped up into the plot, he would see the two hen decoys further out in the plot and come across in front of me, and I'd have an easy shot. But long story short was he came up, stayed there for a long time just strutting and gobbling. I had to cut the footage down a good bit, but he was out there for a long time, and I couldn't swing out because I was just sitting down on my butt. I couldn't swing out around in front of the camera to get a shot. And eventually he lost interest, or he got nervous, and he cut into the brush, which was directly behind the camera at that point, and I had no shot. Eventually I thought he kind of turned to where he couldn't see, and I had a monopod that was attached to my gun. When I tried to go up over the camera, it was dragging through the brush and beating on the camera, and he was over the bank lickety split. But it was a learning for me of I'm done with having a monopod or anything that's attached to the gun. I want to be able to ditch it if I need to. But I thought I was done for the day, and so I ended up still sticking it out. Got to around that 9 or 10 o'clock time frame, and some of the other videos I've talked about with my boys' hunt and some of mine, that I was hoping one would free up. And lo and behold, there around that 9, 10 o'clock time frame, I heard one fire off about 300 yards, maybe a little bit more, off in the distance, across the big hollow, clear over on another finger, and he started coming. Now the interesting thing is, and I'll bring up a picture here in a little bit and show you, is I was sitting in the edge of the food plot, and the plot makes an L, and the short little L part really of it was off to my right, and the long L was kind of out in front of me. And so straight behind me, he came up eventually onto a four-wheeler path. And the long story short was I couldn't tell which way he might come, either through the hollow, around the four-wheeler path on my left or to my right to come out in the plot. And eventually I heard him committing to go around to the right. And I didn't feel comfortable jumping up with the camera gear, trying to get around that short little elbow to reset, because I thought, again, overconfident, he'll come out and look down that long run to see where this hen is that's making these calls. But all he did is end up coming around and stayed behind that corner to where I couldn't see him through the brush. I could just hear him. I mean, I could hear everything he was doing, of spitting and drumming and just gobbling like crazy. And then eventually he worked his way away, gobbling the whole way as he went away, and like I thought, laughing at me. But that was a good learning too. Generally without the camera gear, I close the distance. I like to do a lot of run and gun, and had, hearing him gobble and hearing him go that way, I would have normally jumped up, tried to cut the distance, maybe shut up and just go silent to see if it lets him pull him right on by me to where I could go ahead and have that shot, and he's none the wiser that I've closed the distance. But yeah, those were two of the Ohio. Now I'll take you back to West Virginia, and I hope you continue enjoying the footage. So this clip was one that was from West Virginia. I was hunting down below a pipeline that had been recently put in, a gas pipeline that the turkeys really were frequenting. It was full of a lot of clover and grass and of course bugs and what have you. But anyways, I'd heard a gobbler across the ridge that was hammering like crazy. And I was running short on time. I had to end up getting to baseball so that I could coach our 8U baseball team. Long story short was I finally had that bird across the way that was just hollering and gobbling like crazy, and I went ahead and started to close the distance. And when I did a call just to verify where he was, one fired off at like, say, 75, 100 yards away from me. And I ended up going ahead and getting set up on him. But he never could commit, and I'm pretty confident it's the same bird that I've worked several other times this season. But he just kept skirting, and every now and then he'd gobble, and then eventually got up behind the pipeline. And after a while, I actually started hearing what I thought was one gobbling very consistent. And so I got up and sort of moved a little bit, and I could hear that he was just going crazy. And I thought, okay, it's around that 9 or 10 o'clock. He's finally freed up, and he's trying to locate him another hen. So I end up running up to that pipeline and getting set up, thinking, okay, he's just over the crest. I'll get him to come up. And as I started sitting there working him, he wasn't closing the distance at all. And I tried to go silent on him some, and that wasn't working, to see if he would commit and come in. And I thought, I'm going to have to get aggressive. I've only got about 15-20 minutes that I got to make something happen. Otherwise, I have to hightail it off this hill and get back into town for our baseball practice. So I end up, I knew I wasn't necessarily going to get it on camera, so I abandoned the camera. I really wanted to try to get on a turkey or get one, and I hadn't harvested my West Virginia bird yet. So I end up belly crawling up over the pipeline, over the break of the bank, and he was down on a flat strutting. And I let him, I watched him ease up and come around below me and disappear down over the bank. And so I set up thinking, okay, he's going to circle up to me, and kept waiting and waiting, and eventually I didn't hear anything, so I just did some soft yelps, clucks, and I don't know whether he had dropped down and started circling back around the hill or what, but as I'm looking over here and I'm set up on my right and I'm kind of scooting around and getting set up more, I look down the finger off to my left where I'd kind of see him come from and go around the hill. There he is, and I'm pretty sure he saw me at the same time I saw him, and he popped in behind an oak tree, and I swung and was ready that as soon as he popped out from behind that oak tree, it was a good stable solid shot. But I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen, whether it be with deer or turkey or whatever. He literally just went straight over the bank, apparently right behind the oak, and never came back out to the left or out to the right, and was just gone. So I end up having to pack up, hurry it up, run back, grab the camera, and hightail it, make it back to basketball or back to baseball practice. But anyways, I think I got another clip here coming up for you. That's again another West Virginia, and I hope you enjoy it. Well guys, that was all that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it. This last clip was a coyote that I'd called in West Virginia. I was hunting in a blind where my boy had harvested his turkey earlier. And that's the blind as well that I was set up in. That clip was actually days before I'd actually harvested a bird there at that location. But I'm sitting there in the rain, just hoping that it was going to free up a little bit and slow down. And, a lot of times I love being out, that if you can get when that rain breaks, whether it be for deer or whether it be for turkey, and especially with me too, I'm around some different fields that, turkeys tend to like to go to fields in the rain. But that, the idea being is if that rain can break, and if I can get the skies to clear and the sun to maybe come out a little bit, they'll start hollering and get get active again. But I broke my own rule. You know, my rule is, you know, is if you get a shot at a coyote, you take it. But at that time, you know, it's kind of like what I just said about the previous West Virginia setup where I was belly crawling up on that bird. I wanted a turkey so bad that I thought I'm not going to waste it blowing this area out with taking a shot. And honestly, I maybe could have. And for all they know, again, and I've had it before, well, you saw it with my boy, they might have thought it was thunder or something else and not even really been spooked. But I ended up letting him walk right up to that decoy, which was, I think, positioned at maybe 10, 15 yards, had him dead to rights. And he, you know, as he scooted, he finally, I think, caught movement or saw me in the blind, probably seeing me inside that darkness and maybe my face or something, and scooted and skirted off. And as I said, you know, I should have taken it. That coyote, you know, could be killing who knows how many hens or babies and turkeys and rabbits, you name it. Or, you know, as a lot of people have been talking with me this year, and people sharing camera photos and stuff of fawns, especially too, being so hard on fawns. But, you know, lesson learned, you get a shot opportunity to coyote, take it. But anyways, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed some of the footage that I shared with you. You know, I couldn't bring everything that I had from my spring 2021 season for both Ohio and West Virginia. But I tell you, it was my first season of self-filming. And, you know, again, I said I got a couple videos out there. One of my boy for his spring, West Virginia, my spring, West Virginia, my spring, Osceola in Florida, that I'm hoping that the footage is getting better. I'm learning. It's a quick learning curve, hopefully, that I'm on. But it was really awesome and a fun experience doing it. And as you see, a lot of awesome interactions that go on when you're out in the woods turkey hunting, or when you're just out in the woods in general, whether it be, you know, coming across deer and turkey and coyotes or bobcats, you name it, that it can be really awesome being out and enjoying what God and nature has provided us. So, hey, if you get a chance, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, feel free to post them down below. I'll take a look at them, respond to you when I get the chance. And again, I'm just happy and thankful for you enjoying the videos that I've been bringing to you. And stay tuned, I got more footage coming to you.